Hey guys, so I'm going to go ahead and do the thing that I've posted or talked about yesterday, which is doing the storytelling. I have written a couple people down. We're going to do 5 every day, and we'll go from there. So let's go ahead and introduce you guys to the first 5 characters. Here we go. So the first character we're going to talk about, her name is Allison. Allison has, blonde hair and blue eyes. She's a very outspoken person. She's also very cool, down-to-earth kind of person. If you're her friend, you would, good times would always happen. So she's 13. I don't think I said that, but she's 13. Now, let's meet the second character. So, now we have Bethany. Bethany's also 13. She has blonde hair and brown eyes, and she's kind of bossy. She's a know-it-all. She's very smart, but she can be pretty not so nice. In other words, kind of bitchy. She's just one of those people that you gotta be careful. She's just, yeah. So there's Bethany. Everyone loves her though because, like I said, she's really smart, and she, even though her know-it-allness can be annoying, she, is able to help her friends with studying and, pop quizzes and stuff like that. Now, let's meet Miss Chloe. Greenish gray kind of eyes. And she's, like I said, she's 13. All these girls in this story, they're all 13. So just keep that in mind. She is kind of in the popular crowd. She's not the leader. She wants to be, but she's not. So we have her. She's a popular girl. She has. She loves animals. Her father works in a big-time business company. So does her mom, and she's the only child. And they're pretty wealthy, so she's able to have several pets that she loves and adores. So, yeah, that's Chloe. Now let's meet Delilah. So Delilah is also 13, like I said. She has blonde hair, blue eyes. She is really smart. She smiles. She loves to smile. And she loves to help others. Now let's meet Ellie. So Ellie is a very smart person. She's smart. She's 13. She loves to sing and act. She's very dramatic. Like, she loves to be a part of that kind of crowd. She started acting when she was 3, and she started singing when she was 2. At the age of 4, she started playing the piano. So she's always been well-rounded as far as talents go. So now that you've met all 5 of these beautiful girls, which I need to throw in there just in case these people are not real, they are part of my imaginative writing. They are not real. If any of these names are, linked to you or to anyone, they're not, supposed to be. They're fiction, fiction, whatever. I can't talk. Anyway, just wanted to throw whatever, that these are not real people. These are not their life stories. I am just making up these little stories about people that I think of and stuff like that. So, without further ado, let's go ahead and get into the story. Allison, Bethany, Chloe, Delilah, and Ellie. They were not best friends from the beginning. In fact, some of them didn't even like each other. They all lived in the same state. They all grew up together, but they never truly became friends until 6th grade, which is 2 years ago. Allison liked some of the girls. She didn't like Bethany. She and Bethany did not rub the wrong way. They didn't rub the wrong way or the right way or whatever. It just didn't. It was like it wasn't good. So Bethany and Chloe kind of clicked. Chloe being the popular person, she and Bethany were friends. Delilah and Ellie, they also were close. Allison was kind of the loner at this point. She didn't have, these people as friends, not close anyway. She thought she had good friends, but they were just traitors. So let's go ahead and get to how they became friends. So it was the last day of 6th grade, and Natasha, one of the 7th graders, who was going to be an 8th grader the next school year, was throwing a summer bash party, and everyone in the middle school could come. If you were 6th grade, if you were 7th grade, if you were 8th grade, if you graduated from middle school, you could attend this big party. Natasha, like Chloe, she also, had a big family, a big, amount of money to spend, and she had a big old house. So everyone was very willing to go. Allison at the time was sitting at lunch with her best friends, who later in life were not her best friends. But at this point in time, they were. So she was sitting next to Addison and Rachel. So they were all sitting and talking, and Rachel turns to Addison and says, "Hey, are you going to the party tonight?" The other girl shrugs her shoulders and says, "I don't know yet. I might have plans." Allison looked over at them. "You're not going to the biggest party of the year? Are you crazy?" Adds an eye roll for emphasis. "Yeah, I don't know. We'll see." So, later on that night, as the party begins, Allison shows up and realizes that Addison and Rachel aren't there. At this point, Allison doesn't have a cell phone, so she uses Natasha's phone to call them. She called Addison first, and she was quite surprised to hear Rachel in the background. "Are you guys coming to the party?" Allison had asked. "No, I'm staying home. I have to babysit," was Addison's response. "Why is Rachel there then?" Allison asked. "Oh yeah, she wants to help." Thought Allison as she hung up the phone. That's kinda weird. But she didn't think much of it. Maybe Rachel walked over and decided that she pitied her friend and wanted to help. So Allison had a pretty good time at the party, but she missed her friends. So she walked over to them and when she got there, she realized that there was more than just babysitting going on. There were other girls that were not even from middle school. There was another party going on, and one that Allison wasn't invited to. So she walked in, and she noticed Addison and Rachel talking to these two gorgeous, drop dead, gorgeous, handsome, hot guys. They were in high school, and they were muscular and attractive. And, Allison was kind of like, what? What's going on? She walks up to her friends and was like, oh, what's the deal? Like, you said you were babysitting, but you hosted it at a smaller party and didn't even invite me. So Addison, she was like, yeah, well, Rach and I, we thought about it, but you're really not, cool. Like, we don't like you that much. And it was a shock because Allison, they've all been friends since they were little, like 5. So it was a shocker to be told that you're not our friend anymore, pretty much. So Allison kind of was like, what just happened? I just lost the 2 people that I considered my closest friends. So she cried. She couldn't believe this. It all hit her so fast. In the beginning of the year, Addison and Rachel kind of started to distance themselves from her. They slept over at each other's houses and never included Allison. So she thought about how they've been treating her, and she realized that it was their subtle hint of trying to drive her away from them. And she finally got it. She left that party feeling crushed, and that's how the friendship of her 2 friends ended. They don't talk anymore. They don't wish to communicate. It was before they started 7th grade, before school started, Allison was getting clothes for the new year when she saw Bethany and Chloe coming in. She didn't talk to them. She didn't, do anything. She just continued shopping. When she turned around to go through the aisle, when she bumped into Bethany. Bethany was carrying an armload of clothes, and they all fell to the floor. After giving Allison a dirty look, hands on her hips, she said, "Can you please watch where you're going?" God. As she bent down to get the clothes, Chloe came up behind her and looked at the situation unfolding. "What happened? And who are you?" Chloe said, glaring at Allison. "I'm Allison," Allison said, arms folded across her chest. "Well, you need to be careful," Chloe said, and bent down to help her friend. "Sorry," Allison said, and continued shopping. But Bethany kind of felt bad. She didn't want to hurt others. She was a pretty mean person sometimes, but once you get to know her, she's actually really nice. So Bethany finds Allison. She's sitting at the bench trying on shoes, and she examines some nearby shoes and picks out a couple. "Try these," Bethany says, handing her a couple boxes. "These would look good with some of the outfits I've seen you carrying." So after a couple minutes of searching for shoes, Bethany apologized for her reaction and asked if they could be friends. It was weird because Allison never had the difficulty of making friends and how to respond, but she didn't have any. The only people that she had in her circle was her 2 ex-friends, and she thought it would be nice to have friends, even though Chloe and Bethany weren't the greatest as far as being polite goes, but it was something, wasn't it? Allison also bumped into Delilah and Ellie at an ice cream shop. Luckily, they didn't have anything in their arms or hands, so there was no messes. But Allison was coming in as the 2 girls were coming out, and she bumped into Delilah, who was really nice about it. She offered to go to the park after Allison got her ice cream, and she agreed. So they all became friends. Not all together, but they all soon became friends through each other, and that's how their friendship began. So we're gonna go and walk away. We're gonna go ahead and flip to Bethany now. We talked a little bit about Allison, and let's talk about Bethany. So Bethany is very smart. Her parents really wanted her to be a smart kid. They got her the best tutors and the best books they could buy, and she just was very, very smart. So this is back in the present where they are all 13. So Bethany is sitting in her homeroom on a Monday morning, and she's, really doing nothing. She did all her homework and was just glancing around the room. Unfortunately, her friend from the beginning, Chloe, wasn't in this homeroom. Allison and Ellie was, though, so she scribbled a note to Allison and told some of the girls around her to pass it down. The note said, "Hey, what's the plan for tomorrow? Are we doing something, or are we going to do a study group?" Allison got the note and replied back. She said that they were all attending a barbecue, that one of her older cousins is hosting, and all the other girls would be invited to that as well. Bethany said, "Oh, that's cool," in her next note, and the bell rang. She scurried off to algebra, where she got all the answers right, of course, and bragged about it to her seatmate, her seat neighbor, Brad, who was not the greatest in algebra. He looked very annoyed that Bethany was bragging about how good she was doing, and he plugged in his earbuds and walked away. So by lunchtime, we go ahead and talk about Chloe. So Chloe walks into the lunchroom. She buys her own lunch. So she goes in and she buys her lunch. She sits down at the table where, her friends, Allison, Bethany, Delilah, and Ellie sit. And Jenna, she is the big popular girl. She has beautiful, beautiful, beautiful long blonde hair, and she has like beautiful, dazzling, like blue eyes that it looks like the sky with no clouds. That's how blue it is. And Jenna comes up to where Chloe sits and, tries to ask her, which she does every day, if she wants to ditch these losers and come sit with the popular girls. Because, you are popular and they're not. And Chloe says no. She tried to ask if Bethany could sit with them, and Jenna, with a hair flip, says, Bethany? Heck no, she's a bitch. We don't like her. So, Chloe didn't like Jenna much. She doesn't like Jenna because she called her friend a bitch, and you don't do that. So, they almost fought over it too. Delilah and Ellie, they are quite a pair. Delilah and Ellie has been neighbors their whole lives. Delilah has gone to every recital, every rehearsal, every concert of Ellie's. Delilah is Ellie's biggest fan, other than her parents, of course. So, they can be seen, walking to the lunchroom table, and they sit down and they eat and they talk. Ellie is working on getting discovered. She wants to write songs and she wants to sing and produce and all kinds of good stuff. She wants to get a CD out there. And she's so hyped because she found someone that could help her with all this. And they've recorded a couple things, and things are, starting to get in motion, and she's just really excited. So here we go. This is their conversation. Allison. Oh my gosh, guys. Did you guys struggle with algebra as much as I did? Because it was rough. Bethany, obviously. No, I actually did really well. I got all the answers right, like always. Chloe, you are such a show-off. With a laugh, she nudges her friend. Delilah, algebra is rough, but I seem to have gotten through it okay. Ellie, huh? What? Algebra? Oh, okay. Yeah, it was okay. Allison, Ellie, what are you doing? Why are you so distracted? Bethany, she's probably distracted because she didn't stay awake long enough in algebra. Chloe, Bethany, be nice. Delilah, yeah, Beth, be nice, please. Ellie, sorry guys, I'm kind of spaced out a little. I just finished recording one of my major songs, and I'm so happy it came out so good. You guys want to hear it? Delilah says yes, and she's thrilled. So, they'll take turns listening to Ellie's song, and other than Delilah, they're all pretty excited for her, and they are very happy for her. Allison asks when the CD will be released, and Ellie can't really give them a clear answer on that. They're still working things out. They still, are trying to figure out how that's going to work out. So she's unsure herself. They chattered until the end of lunch, which all 5 friends got up and walked to their one class that they shared and loved, English. That is the story, my first story for you guys, of the 5 friends. Tomorrow, we will be doing another 5. Hopefully. I'll try to see if I can do it tomorrow. We'll do another 5 stories of 5 more girls, and this time it's gonna be different, way different. Can't wait to read it to you guys.